All right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dad Talk. Today, I am your host, Eric Carroll, joined as always by the man, Mr. Chris Gannon. And tonight, we are joined by an old friend of mine, Mr. Bobby Burns. Bobby, what's going on, my man?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
I know, right?
Yeah, so everybody, I've told you a little bit about my past. I used to be a concert promoter up in the Atlanta area. And Bobby was also in two of the world's biggest metal bands, man. Primer 55 back in the late 90s, guys, around Korn and Limp Bizkit. A lot of those bands, Primer, made their way on the scene, played Ozfest and a lot of other shows. And they came back a little bit later on, and I was privileged to get to work with them. But he also played bass in a band some of you metalheads might know, Soulfly.
Right.
Yeah, man. Bobby, so tell us a little bit about where you grew up, man, and how you found yourself getting into the metal scene.
Man, I came up in Kentucky, actually. And I grew up there, graduated high school, and packed my car and left like the day after, actually. Went to Detroit, stayed up there for a little bit. Played with a couple guys in a band that became Sponge.
Oh wow!
With that,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, right, yeah. Like I don't know, the singer was the singer was the drummer, and you know they became that band. But it was too cold, and so I split, moved to Memphis, and that's where I started Prime 55 and like did that, and you know, we did our thing and rode skateboards all night.
In Memphis, was you like friends with the Saliva crew and those guys that was in that area?
Oh, I took their demo. Actually, I'm the guy that took their demo to Island Def Jam Records.
Oh,
got
wow.
Signed. Yeah, because we got signed right before them. And I was like, you got to hear these guys. And all those guys used to be in a band, another band. I can't even remember the name.
I know,
but it was like it was a heavy, but it was like you got to listen to these people.
Did you by any
Trent
chance
Anderson was in that band, and I
What's
know
that?
exactly. Trent Anderson was in that band. I know exactly what you're thinking of, and I can't. I'll get it before the end of this.
Mother something.
It was a weird name. And my drummer in my band, because we opened up for Primer 55 one time, he was in a band up there in Memphis that you might know. And you can't forget this name. Their name was Fluorescent Butt Jam.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. So it was a tight-knit family up there, man. But
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about how you got into Primer and what that was like.
I don't know. Wow. Man, when I moved to Memphis, I had a 1979 Cadillac, a German Shepherd dog, and a skateboard. And I rented a storage unit like right off of Beale Street. And I lived there too. And so I just started like recording demos and stuff, doing dumb stuff, but like making money. And like I recorded so many demos that somebody like text my pager.
Wow.
My pager. My pager. So I found a payphone and called this record label back, and they were like, love the songs and stuff like that. And I was like, I'd made so many demos with so many different people, I didn't know who they were talking about, right. Like who the singer was.
Right.
So like I found out, creeping around, like it was Jason. And I was like, okay, oh yeah, got a band, cool, playing together forever. No, haven't been playing together forever. But I mean, I accidentally got a record deal, and like I paid Jason, and I was like, yo, you signed now. I need you to come make a record with me. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, for real. Next thing I know, he's on a plane to New York. And we making a record in somebody's mom's basement.
Wow.
That was the first Prime 55 record. But yep.
Now
That's
let's go back
awesome.
to that phone call from the record company. Like, what was going through your head when you got that page and you finally called and found out who was on the other end of the line?
I didn't know because my entire life, I grew up like wanting to be like Nikki Sixx or Motley Crue and stuff.
Right.
And yeah, it was like I wanted to be a rock star. But after that point, I was just like writing songs and riding skateboards and living life and trying to survive. And like when it happened, I was like, well, this sounds really cool. But I'd forgotten about my childhood dreams at that point. And so I was just living. And then somebody dumped a bunch of money on my lap and Jason's lap. And I was good with mine, but he wasn't good with his. But it was weird. It was really, really weird because I had never been on a plane before. And now I have to go to New York City, which I've never been to before, and act like I know what's going on because I don't, because
Right.
I'm just a punk kid. Yeah, I was just a punk kid. That storage unit was across the street from a bread factory, and I used to jump the fence because to feed my dog. I would like steal like bread out of the dumpster to feed my dog and jump back over and go home. But it was like that's what we knew, and we did dumb stuff, but coming up, but it is what it is. Like you gotta do what you gotta do. Like we were kids.
Yeah, man. And Bobby, like Primer, I know really hit it big there near the end of the 90s. And I was just talking to my wife about this the other night. Those mid 90s, late 90s, there was something about that generation that was just so doggone rebellious. And
it was cool. It was stuck together.
it really was. I think a
Was.
lot of us felt like the outcasts. So when we
Of
found this
course.
community and
Yep.
rock and roll, we just stuck together and we took
Yep.
up for each other tooth and nail. And it was
Yep.
just a different time back then.
It was definitely a family for sure.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's why I always said family for life. And that's why I've always stuck by that, because it was.
Yeah, and I would be beside myself if I didn't mention. Unfortunately, we got the news. I think it was either a year or two ago that your singer Jason Luttrell actually passed away from Primer 55.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Yeah. So we'd like to pay our respects and condolences to them. But all right, so we go from Primer 55. Next thing you know, you're transitioning over as the bass player for one of the biggest metal bands on planet Earth, Soulfly. How did you find yourself getting inside of Soulfly?
We were on Ozfest together, and Marcelo, the original bass player's wife, was having a baby, and so he had to go home. And so that bought Priority 5 a ticket to go on tour with Soulfly after Ozfest. So, because they were like, Gloria came up to me and she was like, well, you played all the instruments on your record, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, will you play bass for us while Marcelo's gone? I was like, yeah.
Let me think about that. Yeah,
I
okay.
will. Yes, if you want me to. So yeah, I mean, like, it turned into that, and so like we went on tour with Soulfly after that, and I'm playing guitar on Priority 5 opening up, and playing bass for Soulfly closing, and then everything went away, and then I got a call, and I dropped Primer at that time because of band members things, and so I didn't want to do it anymore. And I got a call one day, and it was Gloria, and she was like, hey, you want to come out and play on this record? And I was like, yeah. And it was the Prophecy record that Dave Ellefson from Megadeth also played on, with like 4 tracks on that record.
That's awesome.
And so I came out and played bass on the rest of that record, and ended up being in the band 8 years and 4 records.
Wow.
That's awesome,
It was
brother.
cool. It was totally cool, man. Totally cool.
That's definitely an experience. I'm sure,
Yep.
at that point in time, you never knew what would be coming in the future,
Nah, I didn't expect nothing to come.
That's right. And, I know me and you've had conversations, Bobby, and I remember you saying you kind of stepped away because you said, I've done this. I just want to go spend time with my family.
Exactly. Yep.
You know? And
Exactly right.
that's the sad part about this, man. So guys, Bobby has been dealing with a little bout of parental alienation here lately, and that's why we've invited him over to the podcast. And you know, just like you talked about how the money made the problems back during the music days, once you finally got it, it's kind of the same thing over here inside of the family courts. But
Yep.
Bobby, what tell us about that, man? What is that feeling of parental alienation been like for you?
I don't even know how to explain it really, to be honest with you. It hurts. Everybody knows it hurts. Everybody that's been through it knows that it hurts bad. I have a son. He turned 1 this past December.
A baby.
I've held him once for 45 minutes in front of 2 sheriff's officers. And I don't know. I mean, I did, like, when this happened, like, I didn't even know he was born. I know he was going to be born in December of 2018, but I didn't know what his name was. I didn't know nothing. It hurt. I didn't know what his name was until she put me for child support. And I got those papers in the mail and it had his name on it. And that's when I found out. And that was depressing in itself.
What was that feeling like, Bobby?
Yeah, I can't describe it. It hurt. It hurt. I was happy to know his name and his birthday. But all the other stuff was X'd out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? On those documents that they sent me. But no, it was really horrible. And but I was actually I was happy to know what his name was, what she named him. We had a name picked out for him and stuff like that before we split up. But to find out what his name actually was 6 months after he was born tore me up, to be honest with you. But it hurt me. But I was happy to know.
When did you get to hold him for the first time? When did you get to hold him for the first time?
She had a restraining order put out against me because we owned a house together. And she left and stayed with her mom and started talking about that. You need to move stuff and everything like that. And she didn't start acting weird until her 3rd trimester. And then, like, we made a baby doctor's appointment and went to that. And the doctor was like, you know, sometimes this happens now. Sometimes, most of the time, it happens, you know, postpartum depression. But sometimes it happens at the end when the baby's taking up all your stuff or whatever. And so we did that. And that's, you know, like, I'm sleeping on a couch by now because she's trying to smack me and everything like that. So I'm sleeping downstairs, and she went out for her birthday, and like I texted her. I was like, yo, if you're gonna stay out, because she with her cousin, and I was like, if you're gonna stay out, like I'm gonna sleep in the bed tonight for sure, you know. But she never texted me back, so I did. She came back, called the cops because I was sleeping in the bed. The cops are like, what are you doing? This is crazy. You know, why are we here? I never done nothing to her. I was never violent in any way, but so the cops, I mean, I've never done nothing. So it's like, I mean, that's the plain fact of it.
Didn't make sense to you, did it?
It didn't make sense to me because I was like, I don't even know why you guys are here. And the cops are like, I don't know why we're here. Because, like, we got to go. Like, we have stuff to do. You know, I live in DeKalb County, Georgia. So they have stuff to do. And he even said that, like, stop doing this. He asked me, do you need to leave? I was like, no, I don't know what's going on. And he asked her, and she's like, no. So that stuff started happening, and that night is like she went to stay with her mom and started staying over there while I was staying at the house that we bought together. And then it turned into getting texts. You know, we saw each other every day. You know, we worked 2 miles apart.
Right.
I worked for the county and she worked up the street. So we'd always have lunch and stuff like that. And she would come to the house and, you know, we were cool trying to do our thing, you know, but she was emotional, of course. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, you know, my ex-wife told me she's going to get a TPO out against you if you don't get one out against her because she's going to take your house. And I was like, no, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it because I ain't never done nothing, you know, and
Right.
I didn't think she would ever do anything like that. But lo and behold, we had lunch at one of my parks on a Friday, and I come home from work on a Monday with sheriffs waiting for me with serving me papers. Mm. Now, you know, I'm good friend, wife. You know, we have a 10-year-old together, but at me, she's like, you know, you need to, you know, I told you what was going to happen, but I didn't listen. I don't know. I don't expect people to treat people that way. Number one, I don't. I mean, because I'm not going to do that to you. Even like my ex-wife told me to do that to her, I'm not going to do that because ain't nothing ever happened. But I end up in court. You know, my my ex-wife voluntarily comes and testifies on my behalf that I'm not a violent person, definitely not violent against women, and testifies and talks about our entire marriage. I'm divorced by now. She
Right.
don't like me. She doesn't like me. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we're friends, but we're divorced for a reason. But
Right.
we're not divorced for that kind of reason. And she tells him she's like Bobby Burns is a lot of different things, but violent, he is not. Against women, definitely not. I was married to him.
Right.
I chased him around the house. He not, and it came down to like arguments. Like Michelle would tape arguments and stuff like we'd had, or she would, but it came down to that. And like the judge was like, why are you with him? Like on Friday and coming to my court the same day, and asking for this. So, when all was said and done, the judge was listening to everything and he was like, how about to be on the safe side? I give Bobby the house and grant the restraining order. And her lawyer was like, well, no, because she's with the mother. And her lawyer was like, well, no, because, I've written a statement from her mother saying that her 17-year-old daughter and the baby, when he's born, will not be able to live here. So she's going to be homeless. And that was it. The gavel was dropped, granted the TPO. I lost my house, and that's it.
Well, man, and I would love to tell you. I mean, I don't want to love to tell anything, but that this is a uncommon story, but it's not. This is
I'm
happening.
so sorry for that.
And I know, and I'd just like to say something about this, guys. You're talking to a guy that's played on stage, countries all around the world right now. And this is the first time he's actually, I mean, he's talked about it to people, but this is the first time coming on the stage to talk about the fight he's had for his child. So I know this isn't the easiest thing, Bobby, and I want to say thank you for doing that. And I know I've been in that rock community and stuff like that. We want to feel tough and like we can do everything. But when we see ourselves going through parental alienation, hitting these TPOs and everything, we just feel like we're just powerless. It makes us
I
like we don't have
didn't
control
do
of
nothing.
anything.
I didn't do anything though. You know what I mean? Like, but it's so easy. It's so easy to walk into a court and for people to say something and it be granted. But there's no, I didn't do nothing.
That's why they call it the silver bullet, my friend, is because as soon as that thing is shot, it's effective and it kills whatever it was meant to kill. And
Yeah.
and you know what? There's not very many consequences out there for people that are making these accusations. Now, here you find
There's
yourself.
none.
I've got to go fight this off. And if I can fight this off after going through this hell, losing my children, my house, and I can show that they lied, you're telling me there's no consequences?
There ain't none.
No, man. It's a very, very sick thing, man. But you know,
I was just taking the court again for child abandonment.
You know why? That's what you're the deadbeat. This is
what?
the recipe for the
deadbeat. I pay
deadbeat.
child support.
It doesn't matter.
That's what they paint
come
you
on.
as.
It doesn't matter.
They're going to paint you as.
They're going to paint you as the deadbeat, my man.
She just took me to court in January this year, early January, for child abandonment. But I pay child support. I pay my child. It comes out of my check. The judge was like, I cannot arrest this guy because he's been paying his child support. In court with, in court again. 8 times last year, 1 time already this year. I mean, come on now. Come on, please. Seriously.
That's it, brother. And I've mentioned this in like the last 3 podcasts. This might be a little rough for you, Bobby, but I'd suggest anybody that hasn't seen it, go watch The Marriage Story on Netflix. I mean, it sounds like your story. These lawyers these lawyers actually feed in those TPOs and some of this other BS that's going on, and they make something out of nothing. And it's a sick game, and they want that going on because it makes money.
Of course it does.
At the end of the day, it makes money. And just knowing that you've got a 1-year-old child that needs his dad.
He's so beautiful, by the way.
He is. You sent me the pictures earlier. I was breaking for you, bud, because let me tell you something. Your story is very, very similar to mine. When you've got a baby involved, it takes it to the next level. I don't know if anybody's told you this, Bobby. But one thing I get all the time is they're like, "Oh, you should feel lucky that yours is a baby because they won't remember this." It's like,
please don't.
Please
don't. No,
I'm gonna remember that. And you know what? There's a bond. There's a bond that the little child and the dad has that you can never take away. They know that you're there. So just because
I haven't changed no diapers. I mean, I haven't changed a diaper. I haven't done nothing. I haven't heard his first words. I missed his first birthday. I missed his first Easter, Christmas, everything. I missed all of his first because of dumb stuff.
Right.
I don't know what that is, but like that was robbed. I was robbed from that. I didn't do nothing, but I haven't held my baby except that one time in front of sheriff's deputies. You know, that's bad. That's not good. I mean, that's pretty sad.
What kind of toll is that taking on you, my man? I mean, a lot of times
it's not good.
Even though that we know, hey, like I haven't done anything like you're saying, we start doubting everything about ourselves. We start taking in all of that guilt. We start saying, oh, it's my fault. I've turned it around. I mean, what's that process been like for you, man?
It wasn't good. I mean, like, when the TPO came out, I was like I said, I didn't know when he was born, didn't know his name. I knew he was doing December, stuff like that. I got a Facebook message from some person I never knew with a blurry picture. This is going to be a horrible story.
All right, guys, and let me preface this because I know exactly where Bobby's going. He is going to tell you something that's not meant to be an offense, but he's going to tell you this story so you know where we're leading up, okay? Go ahead, my man.
No, I mean, I didn't know him. A person that was close to me sent me the first picture of him that was taken. because I didn't know what he looked like. And she graciously met me at my work and showed me her Facebook picture of my son for the first time, which I was so happy. I knew what he looked like. He was beautiful. But
can I add real quick, Bobby, for anybody listening? This was an interracial relationship. You was married to an African American woman.
Yeah. Okay. Jamaican American. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful girl. Love her. No problem with her. But yeah, that's the first time I saw him. Thanks to her, the person. But I didn't know anything after that. And then I get a Facebook message from the face was blurred out. It was a black dude, but his face was blurry. And he was like, and it was a picture of my son, which turned out to be my son, looking out an airplane window. And it was like, how does it feel to know that your N-word wife, which wasn't my wife, we were engaged, took your half N-word baby and moved away? And that really messed me up. I was good at that point. I was done. And I jumped off a cliff. I definitely jumped off a cliff because I destroyed my heart knowing, thinking like that. I mean, of course, the message was gone hours later. The page didn't exist anymore and stuff like that. But just hearing those words of a baby I'd never seen, and seeing him stare out the airplane of the window of an airplane, it got to me, and I started drinking. I unfortunately left my house and got in a car crash, got a DUI, and went to jail, of course. Got out of jail. I got out of jail to find out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Bobby, I want to pause you there real quick, okay? Because I think we're skipping over a lot here with, prior to the DWI or the DUI. I want you to go in depth about the emotions and the mental trauma and the alienation that you were feeling, what you were going through. Were you crying every night? Were you
oh my God,
having anxiety? Like, I need you to explain that to everybody.
I know the people that watch this show know what I'm talking about, but knowing you have a baby that's been born, that's alive. Come on now.
And then being told, again, guys, somebody writes Bobby and says, you're half N-word. You know what he's saying? Wife took your half N-word baby. Your baby you hadn't even been able to see. You're already gaslit off of that. And it's throwing this in the man's face. Made a mistake. Okay. And there was a lot of trauma. And I want everybody to show Bobby some love right now, because you know what, dude?
That's all good.
This is a hard thing to say. He's getting it out and he's owning it. And you've got it, brother. Take it home.
I really don't know how to describe what is. Oh, man, I'm sorry.
You're good,
this is.
I mean, dude.
See, we've all felt like this, Bobby. Eric has told you, and I know I haven't shared my.
I'm good. I'm good.
Been the same.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, because people need to see this, brother.
Shit.
Spending many nights in my bedroom, but and doing the same thing, man. Yeah. No shame here, brother.
Yep. I don't know what to say about knowing you have a baby with someone that you loved and you were excited about, to going from getting put out of your house to not knowing when it was born, to not knowing his name, to not knowing what he looked like. I dealt with that for almost 7 months of not knowing anything. And damn, I'm sorry.
You're good, man.
No, you're good.
You're good. We're here with you.
7 months of dealing with it by yourself is pretty hard. Pretty freaking hard. Especially, I'm not an absent dad. I have another 10-year-old son with my ex-wife, and I am a good dad. But I don't know why people would treat somebody that way and do those type of things. But
Bobby, if I could, my man, you know, and that's one of the things all of us struggle with. We're like, this is somebody that I used to tell that I loved. Okay, this was my partner. I gave them intimate parts of me, told them my heart. Well, why are they doing this to me, brother? Once you learn that person that's sitting there, and then like when this is going on, I think it's mental conditions, dude. I don't think they really necessarily just want to do this to you and make your life miserable. It's a condition, and it needs to be addressed, because if we can diagnose parental alienation and we can get these people help, that's how we're going to have effective co-parenting and kill, you know, situations like this altogether. And again, man, we, you know, I know this is hard, but it's
all good.
We've all been there. And when you can accept that, dude, when you see that, it does help. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, I was down with this girl. I was like, yeah, you know, I didn't want any other babies, but I loved her. So I did, totally in love. And you know, yeah, I'm good. That was my wife. That was going to be my wife. You know, we put off our wedding because we got pregnant. And yeah.
Well, and Bobby, I want our audience to know part of the reason why we wanted to go so deep with that question was the fact that Bobby was talking about that he got it was it a DWI or a DUI?
DUI.
DUI. And a lot of times when we're looking at parental alienation and there's a father or a mother who's being alienated from a child, it's very easy for that parent to be tormented for days, months, weeks, even years, okay?
Yeah.
To the point where something breaks and that person makes a decision they wouldn't normally make. Now, the problem with that is when you go into court, the judge doesn't sit there and say, well, look at what we did to this man. Look at what you did to this man. No wonder why he feels like his life's falling apart and made this bad decision. Okay? That's the stuff that people don't see. All right? The trauma that has been put on this man, myself, Eric, but yet when you go into court, that's when they want to look at you and say, oh, see, yeah, he has DUI, something wrong with him. So that's why we wanted to really go into that deep with Bobby, because that's the missing piece that people don't see. You can see Bobby here right now. He is talking about his children. He's crying. He's shedding tears on camera. That's not easy to do. And sir, I thank you for that. Okay, that takes a lot of courage. And one day your kids are going to see this and they're going to see what their dad's doing for them. But everybody out there that doesn't know about parental alienation needs to see what this man has been through for his children for no reason. His only crime is being a dad.
You know, and let's say this too. We're not making excuses about the DUI. Obviously, you ended up in a crash, okay?
Yep.
What we were doing, okay, that night was wrong, you know?
Yeah, of course.
It's so easy to turn to the bottle when things are going wrong, especially a relationship breaking up alone is an excuse and a hard enough reason. But then you add on the alienation.
Yep.
I understand. And so I guess what we're saying here, we're not saying, hey, it's excuse, but we understand.
No, I accept my decisions, of course, 100%. I get it. I did it. That was
You
my
own it.
choice. That I own it. I totally own it.
That's right.
But like, I can't use it as an excuse for what I did, but I can use it for what it is
as a learning
and
experience.
what it, yeah.
And
like,
what steps have you taken to keep that from happening again?
I mean, I've done everything I need to do as far as, you know, my DUI and stuff like that. And, you know, it's like, I've took my classes. I actually even took other classes and paid for them out of pocket for well, I don't know, what is it called? Fathers. It's for fathers to talk about, like, why you don't have your kid and stuff like that, or like the alienation thing.
Right.
It's not a class, but it's a group down in the cap. But I mean, I own my stuff. I don't run from it. I'm not running from nothing, but like, I own what I did. What I did was wrong, and why I did it was pretty messed up, and the message that I got was messed up. But I don't know. I you know, I don't know. If you get a picture of your baby on the airplane moving away, that you think they're moving away because you can't talk to the mother, that's hard to deal with. It's hard to deal with.
And you know, I would just like to tell people too. So Bobby was he was in the music industry, and people think there's politics inside of this community right here. There's some real snakes over there. So hearing something like that, it really doesn't surprise me, man. You get some bad blood, people jealous over what you did in your career. There's so many different things, and they come at you like a tiger. It's one of the reasons I'm not in the music business anymore. I had to take a step away, but man, that, you know, you got to really be a low down individual to send somebody, another human being that is grieving over their kids, something like that, man.
And to not know who did it, and like, why would they do that to me? It's like, why would you do that to somebody?
Right.
I don't, you know, was it a friend or somebody, like a fellow, like you said, a musician or something like that?
Well, it was definitely not.
I don't know.
It was definitely not a friend, but it was effective. It
was definitely a friend of her, because they had a picture of my son.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, that was bad. I thought my son was gone for good because I didn't know. I thought, yeah, she left the state. I honestly thought that, and that was traumatizing, man. For real.
Bobby, I tell you something, we usually do this near the end of the show, but I just want to kind of stop and we're going to get right to it right now. One day, your son might see this. If you could tell him anything right now, what would you tell him?
We're here for you, brother. Take your time.
It's embarrassing as hell.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. This is going to mean the world to your son when he sees it one day, brother.
I respected you as a musician years ago. My band opened up for you, but I tell you what, your respect from me now just went up tenfold.
I'm good.
Yeah, you are. You're good.
I tell him, I would tell him that there would never have been a day in the past that I wouldn't have been there to pick him up, to hold him, to change his diaper, to feed him, to teach him. I'm good, man. I'm good.
You're good. You're good.
I'm good. I'm good. There's a lot of things I would say to him.
Now, what about your ex? You know, we keep names and stuff like that out of it, guys. But like, if you tell her, I'm trying, I know I've made mistakes, you've made mistakes, You know, is there any way we could wipe this water under the bridge? Let's sweep it under the rug and just let me be a dad. Would you accept that?
Of course. I mean, I don't have anything against her. I loved her with my entire heart. We got pregnant and she freaked out, but it was early on, and like, you know, we rushed and bought a house and did the right thing and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't, you know, I mean, going to court 8-9 times last year with her, but I still don't harbor any ill will. You know, I can't carry that stuff on my shoulders. I won't carry it on my shoulders. It's just another court date, you know.
Right.
I went to court so many times that I missed a court date and went to jail for 10 days because I didn't know I was supposed to be there. You know, I mean, like, come on. I lost a job because of that.
Right.
You know, I went to every court date I had, and I missed one that I didn't even know existed, but I showed up for the one I knew existed and got locked up on the spot.
You know,
10 days, lost job, you know, and like, I don't know. I just want to get along. I mean, I'm not trying to fuss. Like, we don't have to talk. We don't do nothing. Let me be a dad. All I want to do at the end of the day is be a father to my child. That's all I want to do. I am a dad. I'm not an absent dad. I'm a father.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got you. And you know, it takes on a whole another level. You know, I told you earlier, brother to brother. So what they're gonna do is they see the tattoos, the piercings, you see the videos up there and the heavy metal bands. And it's so easy to paint this picture of this aggressive guy. Oh my God, you see that on that Soulfly video? This is who it is. But I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to dad, you want the representation of him. You got him right now. This is what parental alienation does. I don't care who you are, Bobby. We had two-time world champion boxer, Mr. Yahya McClain, on this podcast. His former father-in-law was Muhammad Ali, two-time world champion boxer. Been in fights his whole life. I've seen him cry like a baby. And he said the worst fight I've ever been in my life was parental alienation. It gets us all, man. It gets us all. But you know, all right, so being this guy that's been on stage and you've been, again, around the world, then you get in this relationship, you lose your relationship, then you're going through parental alienation. Now we've got the DUI, you got in a wreck. I think you got hurt from the wreck. Now you're in jail. What has that done to just your sense of self, your pride?
Oh, man, I don't, brother, you know, come on now. Like, as I doubt myself constantly about everything I do. Everything I do. Right. I constantly doubt myself about every single decision that I make because I don't know if I'm being watched. I don't know if, like, something's going to come up. But it's like, you know, I try to fill out these papers and stuff like that you know, the people told me to do and everything, and then I get emotional when I start doing it because I got to write his name and I got to write a kid's name and birth date that I've held once. You kidding me? You kidding me, man? Seriously, you kidding me?
You know why they do parental alienation and what they do in the first place, Bobby?
I know what I want to say, but I'm not going to say it because I can't.
Because of what? Those feelings, that self-doubt, you beating yourself up, thinking that you're not good enough and just questioning your whole reality. That's why they do it, man. I'm going to tell you, it's a trick, dude. It's a trick.
It's against that, you know, when you go in those rooms, in those counties, and those people that don't know you make decisions against you that are false, that have never met you, that are looking at pieces of paper. That's wrong, bro.
That is.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Because you don't have no right to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing just because I'm in your house right now. You don't. I mean, like, because, I mean, like, the people with badges and guns around and stuff like that, it's like, you know, you don't have no right to do that because that's not your business. It's not your business. There's no problem going on. There's no problem going on. But I know when I walk in what I'm going to get. Every time I've been, I know what I'm going to get when I walk out. And it's never in my favor. The child abandonment was in my favor because I pay child support.
Right.
And the judge said, I'm not going to arrest this guy. But before that, TPOs and stuff like that, get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Right.
I've never been arrested. I never done nothing wrong. I never had to leave my house. Never done nothing. And you're going to grant them? You're going to grant them that freely without proof? With an ex-wife testifying? Come on. Are you serious? Are you serious? You're going to do that?
And let's be clear, that ex-wife was testifying in your favor, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Voluntarily. She's my ex-wife for a reason. She came down because she thought that was messed up.
Right.
Like, why? Yes. I mean, come on now.
Right.
Come on. Come on.
Bobby, we do have to circle back to something because you and I had talked prior to the podcast, going back to the DUI, the DWI.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a good chance that we have a father or a mother that's an alienated parent who's sitting at home right now, having a few beers, drinking, and might get a text message or a phone call in about 15 minutes from their friend saying, hey, we're up at the bar tonight. Why don't you come hang out? I think it's very important at this point to share with them what you've learned. What is your advice for anybody that's sitting at home drinking a beer right now, using alcohol to fill that void or that pain?
It's not going to fill no holes. It's not going to fill any holes. It's not going to get your baby. It's not going to let you see your baby. It's going to get you in trouble is what it's going to do. And I'm living proof of it. I mean, I get it. I get where people are at. I can understand, being a musician and stuff like that. I understand where emotions and feelings come from. But like, if you're sitting home doing that to escape, you're going to get in trouble. You are going to get in trouble. I mean, it's not helping your situation. It's not helping your kid. It's not helping your mother, the mother of your child, or the father of your child, or whatever your situation is. But there are other places you can go. You can Google everything to find a group to go talk and get your stuff out. Because I'm bad. I mean, I'm a songwriter, so I keep everything in my head. And I always have. That's why I write songs. But I can't imagine a normal person sitting at home keeping something like that in their own head that's going to go do a desk job tomorrow or something. That's traumatizing to me. It's horrific. And I understand it. But please, you got to reach out to somebody. You can't do it because you're going to get in trouble. It's going to make you look bad. And it's not going to help the situation at all.
And you hit the nail on the head with that one, man. I mean, it's bad enough. We talk about divorce and breaking up relationships when you guys got these problems going on, and then you take that to work. Your head's just not there.
You're not there.
You're not there. I think like jobs really need to instate something like when their employees are going through a transition like that, it's not even safe for them to be out there doing their duties sometimes because your mind is just completely somewhere else.
Yeah, of course.
And just so everybody knows,
I work with machines, so.
Just so everybody knows, the reason why my background isn't Dad Talk Today tonight, and it's the don't be what they made you, is because I feel like that's a perfect message to Bobby and this community. And we really have to give Bobby credit because we try to get well-known figures and celebrities to speak out about what's going on with their parental alienation. And I've got to say, it's taken a lot of balls for Bobby to come on and do this.
Yeah.
The one key thing I would like to talk some more about, and Eric, you can really push this conversation forward with Bobby, is number one, Bobby, you're no longer alone. We have about 300, if not more, people watching this live stream right now, who all like the hearts and the little thumbs ups are flying up the screen for you, brother. You're no longer alone. You're part of this community. We've got your back. You've got ours. So now, despite the pain you're going through, and I'm going through, and Eric's going through, and everybody watching this, we need to talk about how we're moving forward, what we're doing to fix this and to end this once and for all. But Eric, do you want to lead in on that?
You know, we've been saying for a really long time, like one of our hardest things to do is to get our people to come together in numbers. Me and Chris have been talking about some ideas here lately. He's like, man, we're going to have to hit some out of the box ideas. And now here comes Bobby. Like, man, I got to be honest with you. So I was in the support group. I forget what question I had asked that day. And I saw you comment on one of the threads. And I was like, Bobby Burns is like, nah, that can't be Primer Bobby.
Yeah,
but I asked
really.
anyway. I asked anyway. And I was so shocked to see you there. And I was like, here's a guy that's been in some really big bands. You know, I think it would be really cool to see like a heavy metal concert rallying around the kids, because, you know, one thing that gets me about rock and roll, man, Bobby, I've loved rock and roll ever since I was a little kid, man. I got into it because of Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith. And then later on in the day, it was Korn, Limp Bizkit, the whole 9 yards. Like I loved it all, man. But there's something that there's been a stigma on rock and roll. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's like, that's what makes somebody cool. And I think we probably all lived by that lifestyle at one point in time. I know I did. Okay. We thought that was what made us cool. You know, and
I did until I was a father.
That's exactly right,
yes,
man. Because
sir.
I told myself I never wanted to be the guy that I am now, sitting in this chair when I was growing up. Now I never want to be the guy that I used to be in those clubs doing the things that I was doing. I just want to be dad, man.
Right.
But I still love my metal.
Of course.
I still love my metal. If we could find some out of the box ideas, Bobby, have you seen anything that maybe we could do to really raise that awareness behind parental alienation?
You know, I'm down with it. I'm down. I would do shows for this. Of course I would. I mean, like I will do whatever at this point to make this happen and to support this group and these people. And it's like the homeboy was saying, like people are giving thumbs up and stuff like that. Listen to this. Like, I'm down with you too. It's like, you know, friend request me, whatever. I'm cool. Like, I'm not like that. You know, because what I've done in the past, I'm a real person at the end of the day. That's why I'm here. Because I've always been a real person, no matter what I've done. But I mean, yes, I would I'm down to do whatever. I mean, we can play shows, we can do events, we can do whatever needs to happen. It's
gonna take a lot, my man. I mean, we've really got to find some outside of the box ideas, because parental alienation and the need for equal shared parenting right now is such a huge thing. And we have a hard time bringing out crowds. It's like, guys, you go and tell everybody what we're going through and how much we need change, and then the people that can make change look over there and they're like, man, you got 50 to 100 people standing right there. You're telling me a lot of people are affected by this. It's like, well, we are, but they're all on Facebook. It's like,
right.
On,
of course they are.
You know what I mean? We've got to make this a real thing, you know? And I mean, it warms my heart, man, to know that you was seeing what we were doing over there in the support group, because
I think it's beautiful.
I do too, man. I do too. I've met a lot of good friends through this, and we've all been there to back each other up. Me, Chris, you've got us, man. You ever need somebody to talk to, you know, hit us up. And, you know, I know those were dark days, but I believe there are better days ahead. You've realized,
I hope so.
You know, you've been through hell and back, man. I mean, and then you had some challenges. You've owned them. You're ready to get it going. And, you know, anybody that could provide some help in the Georgia area, please let us know. I know Bobby would be willing to talk to you.
For sure. Without a doubt.
We need you here on the front lines with us, brother. You know, this is, Eric and I have always said, this is a war, you know,
It is a war for
in a war
sure.
together right now.
Yep.
And, you know, I want you to know when you start feeling overwhelmed and things are too much, you know, you can call Eric. I just friend requested you. You can, you know, we'll exchange information after the show. You can lean on me, and I might need to do that with you. Eric might have to do that with you, but you're part of this family now, brother. We're putting together a group of people, and we're going to tackle this thing head on for our children.
I appreciate that.
And
I'm down with y'all, man, for sure.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. That's the Primer 55 way. Family for life.
Family for life, brother.
Family for life.
Tagline. Always. Family for life, always. You don't turn nobody away.
And I mean, that goes with our kids too, man. That means that's the war that we're fighting. We're family for life. No matter how much you want to get rid of us, we're going to be sitting here fighting to be in our children's lives. And you know what?
Correct.
This army just keeps getting bigger every single day. So
hopefully more people will join up. More people will speak up, not be afraid to. I was afraid to, because, you know, hopefully some guys out there will just let it down and hit the like button, send you guys a message, send me a message. I'm cool, whatever. You know, like, hopefully people will do that. This was very hard for me to do. You know, it was. Yeah. You know it was, bro. Very hard. Very hard. Because now my stuff is out and gonna be in Europe now, probably. Or whatever. But I'm cool with it. I mean, I didn't lie, and I'm cool. It's my story. It's my life. I'm good.
There's actually a freedom in that. There is a freedom saying, you know what?
I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better because nobody's heard it before.
I'm not hiding from anything. There it is. It's on the table. Let's deal with it. And that's how you get to your problems, man.
And correct. Bobby, for as many people that don't know about the family law courts, title IVD funding, and parental alienation, like you said, it's going to be over in Europe now. You know, people are going to see this, they're going to watch it, and they're going to start talking. And more, like, you got a little bit of therapeutic value for telling your story tonight, but you, by telling your story tonight, are creating more awareness than Eric and I possibly could together with all of our other podcasts, because people are going to talk about this. People, you know,
they will, yeah.
You're going to see it and talk to each other, and someone's going to say, you know what, I'm going through that too.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need more people to start talking about it and to be creating awareness.
I believe in that.
Society has told our men that they're not allowed to wear their emotions on the sleeve. You know what? You're going through something. Man, I'm okay. I'm okay. Nothing's wrong with it, you know? And that's bullshit, man. I don't cuss on the podcast much, but I'm just going to tell you.
No, I get you, bro.
Bullshit. And you know what? We have feelings and we need to be getting them out. And if we don't get them out, we're going to explode. And I've seen too many of my brothers that are taking the easy way out, if you get what I'm saying.
I do.
Don't want them doing that anymore.
So, yep. I'm full.
And that's one thing Eric brought up. We had an event in Georgia about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yaya had everybody raise their hand and said, repeat after me. I, Yaya McLean, and everyone would say their name, will not commit suicide. And, you know, I, growing up, I was actually friends with Chester Bennington. And a lot of people don't know he went through a very bad divorce.
Yes.
When the rest of the band was in houses, you know, he was sleeping in his car. He had a 1-bedroom apartment. So he also came from a family of divorce. So people don't realize what this does to children and fathers and mothers that are affected by it.
It stays with you. It stays with you always, man. I mean, like, you don't, you know, where was my dad? You know, where was he? Where was my mama? Like, you're not going to forget that. I don't care. Like, people say, like, your baby is a baby, you're not going to remember. Like, it's an emotional bond, number one. You know? It's like, a lot of us don't have that. I don't with my son, because I can't, but I want it, but I get it. It's like, it doesn't go away. It goes someplace, but it doesn't go away.
That's right.
You know, it goes in you.
And it's that thing, you know, with the innocent baby, it takes it on to the next level. That's why I said, man, like my heart goes out to you, dude. I'm sitting in the exact same thing. You know, I've heard older parental alienation studies is like that of a divorcing couple. You don't have to be married to go through parental alienation, and your child does not have to be older. You know, I think alienation goes to the 10th degree when you put a baby in there, because any story they want to put in there, they can. And then when dad wasn't there or mom wasn't there, okay, they have nothing else they can believe. So it's all they know. They have
my baby wasn't even born. My baby wasn't even born.
I found out the name of my baby from somebody else too, Bobby.
Exactly, brother.
Okay. I wasn't allowed.
How hurtful is that? How did that make your soul feel? Yes, I know.
As a dad, like I've got custody of my other two girls, me and their mom, we co-parent just fine. But as a dad that has completely devoted his life to being dad, being told I can't be dad, it took me a long time. I'm still not completely incorrect.
I know,
man. I'm just not, dude. And I keep my story off of here as much as I can. But I've had people that's gaslit me on my own show. Like, this dude's doing it for the fame. I'm like, you think I want to be known as the guy that can't see his kid? Are you serious? It's right. Like, because we're hurting and we want solutions. And I mean, I get it, dude. It takes on a whole other level. And one day you're gonna see that baby boy, man. I'm telling you.
I'm going to. It's good. I'm going to.
It's coming.
And you know what,
I'm
Bobby?
going to.
Everything you do between now and when you do see him or when he's older is going to be very important, because you want to be able to have him look back and see everything you did. You know what? On February 1st, 2020, Daddy wasn't at the bar drinking. I wasn't hanging out with my friends. I was on a podcast with Chris and Eric talking about you, how much I missed you and how much I wanted to see you. Think about how awesome that will be to be able to show him when he's 16, 17 years old, and he says, Dad, where were you? You know what? I never stopped fighting for you.
I write my son a letter every single night.
There you go.
Awesome, I have since before he was born. I write him a letter every single night, and I have every single one of them in my notebook.
Bobby, I got a question for you. Being an artist and a songwriter, have you written any songs?
It takes me a minute to write, especially going through something like this. I can't get really anything positive out of anything like that.
Been there.
Yeah. So I haven't written a song in over a year, actually, because it's not going to be good if I do it.
Right.
And I don't want to do nothing that bad. I mean, I can make money if I write it.
Right.
I'm not trying to make money, but like, I don't want to write that song.
Right.
You know, because they ain't no hope in that song I'm gonna write.
Right.
I mean, there's gonna be hope in a song I write when I see my kid, when I see my son. I'll have hope in a song. I'll put hope in a song. He'll put hope in a song for me.
Right.
But I don't want to write. I've written negative stuff all my life because I came up that way. And, I did that. I'm older now, man. I'm older. I'm an adult. It's like, I don't want to write teenage crap at this point. I could all day make $1 million, but I choose not to.
Right.
Especially because of this.
I've been there, man, and I get it. There, again, I never thought I'd be sitting in this chair, being that metalhead myself, man. Being that metalhead myself,
either, bro.
But brother, we are, and I'm proud to be here, and I respect that. I definitely respect that. But if you ever do get cranked back up and you guys play the Atlanta scene, let me know, because I'll be there.
Right on.
It's been a long time since I've been to a show, man. I used to be there every weekend with you guys, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So I think the last show I went to was like a year ago. I went and seen Maiden, but before that, it'd been like 10 years, man.
I haven't been out of the house to go to a show. I saw Helmet at the Masquerade for the 20th anniversary, and that's the last time I went out.
I got you.
Eric,
the last show I saw.
How far do you guys live from each other?
We're not far, man. I think if he's in Decatur, I'm about 2 hours away.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm coming down there the second week of February. Maybe we can go out and find a show. Maybe even if it's local music one night and all of us can hang out.
I'm good. I'll get us
Sounds
all in
good.
trouble. I'm kidding.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that'll
know,
be fun. Be fun.
well, you
Sure.
know, we have another spot on the TV show too, man. We need a fourth guest.
I'm good. Come on now.
We might have to scoop you up there, Bobby. We'll get back in touch with you on that.
Come on now. Let me know.
All right, brother. Well, guys, we want to say a big thank you to Bobby. Everybody, please chime in the comments, dude. Again, that was very big of you to give us your story, and we want to thank you. There's no telling how many people might hear this that was in the same seat as me and you in that metal community and stuff, and be like, you know what? It's gonna open somebody's eyes, man.
I hope so, bro. I hope so. That's why I did it.
I know it will, and soon that boy will be back. Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Tomorrow we've got another episode of Parents and Politics with Mark Ludwig for you. And before we leave, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors. We are sponsored by the Isaac Law Firm, Upstream Growth Consultants, the Father's Rights Movement, and the House Champ, Mr. Yahya McLean, the newest realtor in the Atlanta, Georgia market, 2-time world champ. He's got his title. Now let him help you get yours. I love it, man. It was a good thing. But anyway, all right, guys, we will see you next time. Bobby, thank you again, my man.
You got it, brother. Thank you.
All right.